Hey guys, what's going on? Cooling here, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite horror franchise for once, finally on this channel, Friday the 13th. May not be the most consistent franchise, but it's definitely the one I rewatch the most out of all, especially out of the big three anyway. And I got my box set in, so perfect time to talk about my top 10 favorite kills in the franchise. Now this is going to be only the counselors and regular people deaths, not Jason deaths. I'm going to do I'll rank all the Jason deaths or defeats, because he doesn't really die, we know that, on the next video, okay? Today we're just going to focus on the regular people's deaths. And there's some pretty good ones. I had a hard time to narrow it down. There's like 180 or something kills in this franchise, some crazy number. I narrowed it down to like 25, and then I narrowed it down to 10. It was very hard. But I ended up with 5 honorable mentions for you, so I'll get those off the bat right away real quick. First honorable mention is from the original. It's Marcy getting the axe into the head in the bathroom. Sweet kill, just didn't make the top 10. Next we got Jason Takes Manhattan, Julius boxing with Jason and getting his head punched right off the roof. Next we got Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, when pretty boy Doug gets his face crushed in the shower. It's so brutal and awesome. We got Part 6, Sheriff Garris getting his back folded in half by Jason in a really cool way, and he deserved it. And lastly, for my last honorable mention, I'm going to talk about the sleeping bag kill, the infamous sleeping bag kill. It's an awesome kill, just didn't make my top 10. But let's get right into my top 10 kills in the Friday the 13th franchise. Coming in at number 10, we got Freddy vs. Jason, Trey the douchebag. He's always bitching at his woman, telling her to go get him a beer and that she's like useless and all this. This is like early in the movie too, and you already hate his guts and you want to see him go, and they do it pretty quickly. He's in bed while she's taking a shower, and Jason comes in and just stabs the living hell out of him in his back, and to finish him off, he folds the bed in half, putting his head like towards his feet, and it's just a crazy looking kill. I loved it. It's one of my favorite parts of Freddy vs. Jason for sure. Continuing on with number 9, we're going with the original. Jack in bed getting the arrow through the neck, played by Kevin Bacon. He's laying there right after sex, and he's about to smoke a doobie, and blood starts dripping down on his forehead, and before he even gets to realize what's going on, the arrow's coming through his neck and blood splurting out. And behind the scenes, I guess Tom Savini had to blow the blood out through a straw because of his device didn't work right or whatever. And it just made for an awesome kill, even with him blowing out through the straw the blood out. It just looks great. Coming in at number 8, we got Jason Takes Manhattan, the dance floor scene with Kelly Hu, or Eva or whatever her name is on the movie. It's I used to not like this scene at all because Jason's going all around the room, teleporting from like door to door. And I used to find it so ridiculous, but now I learned to love this movie. You just take it for what it is. I just see it as Jason just keeps getting more powerful every time he dies or gets electrocuted, and it happens at the beginning of this movie, so maybe he gained ultra teleportation powers, even better than he had before. Anyway, Kelly Hu's looking around the room, and everywhere she looks, Jason is there, until he finally is right beside her and grabs her by the throat and starts choking her and lifting her up off the ground and choking her pretty much to death until she's lifeless, and then he slams her down so hard onto the dance floor. It's so awesome. And I guess Kane Hodder slammed her down pretty hard too in real life, so she's a tough cookie, that Kelly Hu. And it just makes for a really awesome scene with no blood or gore, but it's still a cool kill, and it made my top 10. Coming in at number 7, we got Friday the 13th Part 2, Mark's death in the wheelchair. Now, Mark, he was such a great character. You had to love him. We're all hoping he was going to get laid so bad. That girl was right into him too. And he ends up getting a machete not right through. He ends up getting the machete right in the face. And not just that, he rolls back and then goes down a huge set of stairs in his wheelchair. And it makes for an epic scene. even though I'm not really sure where the machete came from, where Jason was standing, because the way it happens, it comes at his forehead, but Jason's not behind him or in front of him where Mark would have seen him. Anyway, logic aside, it's still a badass kill. Coming in at number 6, we got Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, with Eddie getting the belt around the eyes and with the tree. And this is another brutal one. He just realized the girl that he was with is dead, and he backs up to a tree, and Jason, we'll say Jason, Roy Burns, puts the belt around his eyes, attaching him to the tree, and shoving a branch inside, and twisting and turning and twisting until the blood starts spewing out of his eyes, and it's just an awesome kill. And he just keeps turning that belt until eventually it breaks. Coming in at number 5, we got Jason X. I know a lot of people have this as their number 1, the liquid nitrogen kill, or whatever the hell that is. I'm no scientist. But it is an awesome kill, and it made my number 5, so don't be mad. This kill involves a girl named Adrian who is doing tests or whatever in a room, thinking Jason's dead behind her on a bed, on one of those operation tables or whatever. And he wakes up, grabs her. No one hears her when she's trying to scream in that, and he starts hauling her around the room, and drags her over to the sink or whatever full of liquid nitrogen, and puts her head in, hauls it out, and you get this cool scene of her screaming under the water or whatever. And when he hauls her out, her head's completely frozen, and he smashes it against the cupboard or whatever it is, and her face just smashes into pieces, and it's so awesome. Coming in at number 4, we got Friday the 13th Part 3, with Andy getting split down the middle. Now this is a pretty cool one. Andy's been doing handstands throughout the first half of the movie, and you kind of figure it's going to have to do something with his death, and it does in a great way. While he's on his hands going across the floor, he doesn't realize Jason's standing right there, and he just comes down right between his legs with the machete and just brutalizes him. And it hurts just to think about it, that happened to you. And that's not even the best part. It's the reveal later when another girl's laying in bed and she looks up and you see him in the rafters and the blood's dripping down, and it looks nasty, but so awesome. Alright guys, now we're in our top 3 best kills of the franchise. There's some good ones here. And number 3 is Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, with the dark-haired camper in the tent. And you know which one. So this girl makes her friend sleep outside so she could sleep with this guy in the tent. And they make the bad choice of unprotected sex, which I think doesn't really matter. They would have died anyway. And Jason, the mortician or whatever, who Jason went into his body, shows up with this pole thing and rams it right through the girl's like almost chest area, a little lower, and hauls it up all the way through by her collarbone out. And this is probably the most brutal kill in the whole series, one of them anyway, and that's why it made my top 3. It just looks so great, makes for one of the best deaths in a not so great Friday movie. Coming in at number 2, we got Friday the 13th, the final chapter, part 4. Ted, where's the corkscrew? You know which one it is. Crispin Glover getting the corkscrew in the hand and then getting the cleaver in the face. And I'm just glad he got laid before this, because he was a dead fuck, according to Teddy. But anyway, and the way this was filmed was all in backwards. I guess they took the cleaver, had it at his face, and hauled it away, and he had to make the facial expressions, which is really cool to know, watching behind the scenes. And I don't know, I just love this kill. It's just an awesome kill. It's so unexpected, getting the corkscrew in the hand for one thing, and he's looking at that, and just the turn to get that in the face. I don't know, I just love it, and that's why it's my number 2. Now coming in at my number 1 favorite kill in this whole franchise, it's gonna go to Axel and Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Well, we get two kills from the final chapter as my top 2. It's a movie full of great kills, and this one's no exception. You got Axel, he's the coroner, he works at the morgue anyway, and he's a straight up pervert, and he's weird too. He like eats food off the dead bodies, and just a right weirdo, right? and he's trying to get action from this other nurse, and she just ain't having it. So he's sitting there watching his women's aerobics video, which is really weird too. And he's sipping his coffee, and he burns himself. And like an instant later, he realizes he's burnt. Jason's already right there, hacksawing his neck with like a surgical hacksaw, and you see it like cutting in. And that's not even the best part. And then Jason just twists his head right around the opposite direction, and you see his neck like twirled around, and oof, it looks so amazing. That's why it's my #1 kill in this whole franchise, and it's going to be really hard to beat. And it's probably my favorite kill out of all three franchises of the big three. Well, there you have it. There was my top 10 favorite kills from Friday the 13th franchise. I'm sure some of yours were on this list. Let me know down below if I missed one that you really loved. And I'm excited to dive farther into my collection I just got, even though I already own all these, but it's always fun to rewatch them on a new a new disc, right? And there's a few new special features and stuff on here that I'm excited about. So that's it. My next video of Friday the 13th will probably be ranking the Jason defeats or deaths. So that'll be interesting to see. So that's coming soon. Stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.